Well, here we are. It is 2026. Happy New Year. And thank God it's the new year because 2025 was one of the worst. Let's talk about it.
1. Let's get started.
So, I like to take the first day of the new year to kind of reflect on everything that's happened and everything I've learned and how I want to make the next year better for myself and for those around me. And man, 2025 definitely taught me a lot, but it was not a year that I would do over again. It was a fucking bummer right down to the end. I had the worst December, not a great holiday season, not a great year. Yeah. The important thing is that we take what we learned and we move on, but I just want to take a minute to just kind of rant, complain, dump about all the BS that I went through this year because man, it was just not a good one. And like I said, December was probably the worst of it. I have had a really shitty week and I just want to get it all off my chest. So, and you know, it's crazy that I call 2025 one of the worst years that I've ever experienced because my mom died in 2023 and that was still a much better year. I would rather relive 2023 because at least in 2023 I had some fun. This year, even the fun stuff just like doesn't even stand out. But anyway, let's just go through it. So in 2025, I went through 4 different jobs. 4 different jobs that were all horrendous. The first one, I tried as hard as I could. I was making decent money. I liked some of my coworkers, but man, oh man, the working conditions were horrendous. My manager was a monster, and I just had to get out of there. The last straw was I got sexually harassed by a customer and nobody did anything about it, so I was just like, all right, not worth it, I'm out. They also just threatened to take away like most of my pay, so I was just like, not worth it. And I couldn't do the not even the 9 to 5 thing anymore. It was 10-hour days. I couldn't do the 10-hour days anymore. Then I tried to work at just a flower shop and they turned out to be horrible people. I only worked there a week because they were like making fun of their customers. They were like, oh, look at that woman, she just lost her husband. What a fucking, R word, slur, whatever. Just horrible people and just horrible business practices. I couldn't do it. Then after that, I got a retail job selling adult recreational substances and that was okay. But I told them from the get-go, like, I want to work 3 days a week in the mornings, and they said, yes, we have the position for you. You can work 3 days a week in the morning. And then they scheduled me 5 and 6 days a week only at night. And I really tried to make that one work too. I liked a lot of my coworkers, even though they're all like conspiracy theory nut jobs. I really tried, but I was just slowly going insane. The hours were not working for me, and there was just nothing. I wasn't doing the actual job I was assigned to do. They had me selling like other stuff other than what I had been hired to be selling that I just wasn't comfortable with, so I was just like, nope, I'm out. So that sucked. Then my last job, I don't even want to go into details. It was so fucking horrible. I felt so drained. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I wanted to die like every day because of the people I was working for. They were so horrible. They were the worst people I've ever met, and all of their clientele equally horrible. I was doing horrible things for horrible people and contributing to like just a horrible way of life, and I couldn't do it anymore. And it didn't matter anyway. They let me go because they couldn't afford to have me there. So that was my year. Just into work, and that was all fucking nightmare. It's like I can't even remember decent things that happened this year because they're all so overwhelmed by all of that horrible work stuff. Like, I went on a really fun birthday vacation while I was still at my first job in March. I went to Denver. It was a lot of fun, but like it's just tarnished by all the work stress. So I keep forgetting that I even did that. And then the most fun was probably going to my niece's wedding. That was really great. It was a fun trip. That wasn't as stressful, but I was running out of money because I was working at that dumb job that wouldn't give me the right hours. So I've spent the holiday season, because I got let go the week of Thanksgiving. Very classy. They basically, I think they decided that day because they basically asked me like, hey, do you want to work Thanksgiving? No one else is going to be here, but if you would like to work on Thanksgiving, that'd be great. And I was like, no. So I think they went out to lunch that day and basically talked about it, and they're like, well, she's not a team player. And then, so right before Thanksgiving, lost my job. So I had to deal with that embarrassment and just like feeling weird about that, and around the holidays. And the holidays are a tough time for me anyway because, like I said, in 2023 my mom died. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer Thanksgiving of 2022. So a year later, in December of 2023, 2 days after Christmas, she died. So it's just a really tough time for me and my whole family. So that's always just kind of in the air. And then to end the year off on just the worst note possible, this year on the 29th of December, just a couple days ago, my family dog died. We've had her since I was like 10, 9, somewhere in there. Yeah, so she finally passed away, and it was one of those things where you just know it's coming, but I've just never been so affected by a dog passing away, I guess. I've had a lot of pets pass away, but that one and my pet bird died also in December in 2021, I think. Those are like the hardest pet deaths I've ever gone through, and man, so I've just been sad the last couple days. That's how I finished out 2025, was just horribly depressed, and it wasn't getting much better because the job market out here is just a nightmare. I know it's a nightmare everywhere, but it's just like, man, and you can't even feel better about it because, you know, if you try and talk to someone about how shitty the job market is, they're like, oh, well, it's bad for everybody. And it's like, okay, it's bad for everybody. How does that help me? That's not great. So we all just get to be depressed and unemployed and losing money altogether. Great, I feel so much better. But anyway, I believe it's so important to just get that all out of the way. It was a shit year. It's behind us now. It's all over. My mom, my pets, I think they did us a solid by like leaving that in the shitty year behind and not starting off the new year on a sour note. Like, it's a new year, it's a new day, we can start fresh. Like, it sucks that that happened. I'm always going to be a little sad, and I'm always going to miss those people, those pets, those experiences that I missed out on, that I did that I didn't like, you know, all that stuff. But it needs to just be put aside so that this year can be better and I can be a better person. I can move towards the better life that I know is ahead of me. And it starts with this new year. It starts with this new mentality. That's what I'm going for. So with all that out of the way, I know I've learned a lot from those experiences. I've learned that I'm not going to waste my life working for money. Money doesn't matter in the end. You can't take it with you. What's the point in saving up tons and tons of money if you never get to spend any of it? If you don't get to spend time with the people you love, if you don't get to have experiences, you know? When I was working my first job, that 10-hour-a-day job, I was so exhausted all the time. I would just come home and cry or sleep, and I wouldn't see any of my friends. I wouldn't take weekend trips. I wouldn't do really anything. I didn't get to see my boyfriend a lot of the time. I didn't get to see my family a lot of the time because I was either exhausted or working. And so it's like, yeah, I had the money to like go on vacation or whatever, but even if they let me have the time off, I was busy. I was worried about work. I was stressed about missing the time off. I was stressed about missing the money. And then it's like you just have to go back to work and hope to maybe get a vacation way down the line. Like, it's just not worth it. And it's like not even like I was able to go on crazy cool, I went to Denver, you know. If I have a part-time job that pays half, I can also go to Denver. I just won't spend as much money, or I'll save up for longer, you know. But at least then I'm not dedicating the majority of my life to something that I hate that makes me miserable just because I want to save up money. It's frustrating because I've always known that. It's just a matter of remembering and reminding myself that money is not important over time. Time is more important. You can't get time back. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. I was reminded once again how important family is. I really want to make time with family and really cherish those connections, and I don't have very many friends, but keeping those connections open with my friends. I guess to move on to my goals for 2026, I definitely want to work on being less stressed. I probably am going to die a few years earlier than I would have naturally just from all the stress I built up this year. I think this year alone has taken a couple of years off my life. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. So yeah, I really want to dedicate time to just chilling the fuck out. I'm pretty sure I said that last year, but it's a good goal to have. I want to travel more. I know I'm not focusing on money, but I think I can make travel happen more if if I have more time. I really want to make it my goal to finally like sustain myself off of my own work, like my own artwork. I don't want to work for another shitty company. I don't want to work for shitty people, and that's just not possible here where I live. I think for the most part it's going to be people I'm not going to get along with. It's going to be people who I don't agree with fundamentally, and it's going to be work that I don't appreciate or don't enjoy and can't even like do mindlessly unless it's extremely part-time. So I am going to continue looking for part-time work, but I'm not going to dedicate myself to a full-time job where I'm miserable. I just can't do it. And instead I want to put more of my energy into just my own business. I already have work that I know makes money. I just need to fully put myself into it and actually dedicate more time and effort to it, because like it can work. I haven't been disciplined in the past. So I want to change that this year and get to the point where I don't have to have a traditional job. I can just make money on my own. So that's a big goal of mine. And then I'm getting married this June, so that's a big goal. Get all that ready. And then another big goal I have for the year, especially if I get to have more time like I want, and I have more time now, I need to move. I need to move out of Montana. I can't do it anymore. Montana was a great place to grow up. I am very grateful for the experience that I've had here, but it's over. I cannot do this anymore. I hate it here. I can't do it. It's not the place for me. And I think it becomes even less of a place for me by the day. I think the other people who live here, the majority, they're making it a place that I no longer want to be. My family agrees that this isn't the place for us. The problem is we have a big hoarder house. I'm not sure if you've seen, but my mom was a bit of a hoarder. I have one video on cleaning one room in the house, and it took forever. My mom left a lot of stuff behind, and it's really difficult to move because it's like, well, that's my mom's stuff. I don't want to touch her stuff, and like there are a lot of memories attached to it, but it's just like, no, there's too much. There's too much stuff. We have to get out of here. So I just really need to dedicate time to actually moving out of here. Basically my first little mini goal of the year is to kind of generate a schedule for myself where I can achieve everything. So where I can, I have like 15 minutes of the day where I apply for my part-time jobs, whatever. I have an hour out of the day where I work on my own business stuff. I have another hour where I get to chill. I have 2 hours where I clean, 2 hours where I get all of my errands done. I want to create like a systematic thing where I'm doing a little bit every day so I don't get completely overwhelmed, because that's kind of my problem, is I get really overwhelmed by the amount of stuff to do to accomplish all of my goals, because I have a lot of goals and interests, and I'm sad and I'm tired a lot, so I need breaks. So my first little goal of the new year is to create a little schedule for myself where I can get all of that done. And then overall, I'm hoping by the end of the year, I will be married. I will be a little less stressed. I will have cleaned up majority of this house, and hopefully have started figuring out where exactly I'm going to move. I have an idea, but not anything specific. And then I want to make it so that I can sustain myself financially without having a real job by the end of the year. And I think that's all doable, and I think 2026 is the year to do it. 2025 was such a shit show. I think it's going to give me enough momentum to really make 2026 a good one. So that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. We're starting off on like just a shit note. December sucked. I'm starting to think December's cursed, but we'll leave that be. Now we're in January. It's a fresh start. Every day it's getting a little bit lighter out. I'm getting closer to my goals every day, and that's what we need to focus on. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I know that was a lot, and I was talking fast, and I went over a lot of stuff, but I just had to get it all out. I really do believe that by like getting it all out and leaving all of that bad, shitty energy in 2025, I can really make a fresh new start and bring some good, happy, optimistic, productive, whatever other adjectives I need for 2026. That's what we're doing. We're making that kind of energy. That's where we're going. That's what we're doing. So that's all I have for now. I hope you had a better holiday season than I did. If not, I'm sorry. I feel you. Yeah, but we're gonna make 2026 a good one, and no one's gonna stop us, so better get started.